Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Sadie.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Matt.
I'm Callie.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. We've been pretty busy so far this morning. We got the farm market all set up and ready to go. Matthew and I have been bagging potatoes, and Daniel just got back from the wholesaler. We're now working on getting our farm market all filled up. It's gonna be what we're expecting to be kind of a slow day, but we've got plenty of jobs to take care of. I went for a little ride right away on the side-by-side this morning just to show you how beautiful it is out today, but we're dealing with a little bit of a problem. We'll touch on that later on though. For now, we're gonna finish on getting this farm market all set up and ready to go, and then we're gonna move on to the animals. I had a yellow bell pepper that went bad up in the farm market. I brought it down here and I threw it into the chickens. I know it was a mistake. I should have brought more than one pepper because they were all fighting over it. As you guys have seen, I've collected a lot of chicken eggs in my day. Most of the time, they look like this. They're pretty standard, but look what I found today. Look at this egg. That is the strangest chicken egg I've ever seen. I'm keeping it. When it comes to the chickens, we get a lot of questions here on the farm. A lot about what they're eating, a lot about how we take care of them, and through the videos we pretty much show everything. We will get the question why we don't do pasture raised eggs, and one of the biggest reasons is it's just not convenient for us. I know that sounds like kind of a bad answer, but with the amount of work going on, we wouldn't be able to give them the care that they need if we did do pasture raised eggs. A big problem is where we live in Northeast Pennsylvania, chickens have many different types of predators. I mean, we have coyotes, weasels, we have lots of birds of prey. I mean, I could go on and talk about all the different predators for a very long time. And quite frankly, we're just not set up to have pasture raised chickens. The way the land lays out here, it's not too easy. And a lot of the pasture ground, or I should say all of the pasture ground we have, is either for the cattle or for the horses. So it's just not convenient. I don't know if convenience is the right word I want to use. It's just not in our ballpark right now to be able to have pasture raised eggs. Maybe one day we could do that. That's something I would like to do. But as of right now, we just do our best to make sure that our chickens are comfortable. We give them the best feed that we possibly can. And we always try and sneak in some goodies here and there. We've gotten lots of questions about our chickens over the years, and we have answered them. But I just like to touch on that occasionally because we get so many new viewers. We have this pen of chickens and the other pen of chickens. The number one draw for these chickens is the eggs. It brings in a lot of people to the farm market. You don't make a crazy amount of money off of chickens. However, when we get more and more people into the farm market for fresh eggs, they purchase other things. So in the end, even though this can be a lot of work, it pays off because it gets more and more people into the farm market looking for a nice, healthy option. And I tell you what, I love the eggs that we raise and they taste delicious. What you guys doing over here? Enjoying breakfast? Those are some beautiful calves. What do we got down here? I'll tell you. 2 brand new calves that just arrived the other day. We got this little guy. Isn't he a beauty? Wow. And over here, we got this one. Little Holstein Angus cross. This looks like there's a lot of Holstein in there, but that's okay. I see a little white on the back foot. 2 shades white on the back foot, but that's okay. Beautiful. We've been doing some experiments with the way we've been feeding our cattle. Once we have some more data, we'll share with you what we've got going on. But it's pretty exciting. Oh, very exciting. Oh, that smells good. Back up. Calm down. Bunch of lunatics out there. This little back pen is really, really nice. It separates the smaller cattle from the larger cattle and makes sure that all these smaller cattle get an opportunity to eat. I wouldn't call any of the cattle bullies, but the larger ones definitely will push the smaller ones out of the way for a little more food. You know, we don't really talk about this much, but that window up there, it's one of the most popular spots on the farm. When customers show up, they go right to that window and they can look out here and see the chickens, they can see the cattle and the beautiful view. I think a lot of the people that show up and they're getting eggs or they're getting beef, they really appreciate being able to see the animals and see how they're cared for. I'm just running through the little mental checklist of stuff we had to do this morning. We got potatoes bagged up, corn market's good to go. Animals are all taken care of. I think we're good. Now we can move on to a big job that needed to be done like yesterday. Even though we're now well into November, there's still some things that we can harvest. For the most part, it's just cole crops. Recently, we just picked off the last of our red beets. And besides that, due to the colder temperatures, nothing can really be picked. But the cole crops, they stand strong. For the most part, broccoli is all finished. I think we're gonna try and pick a little bit more today, see if we can find anything. But the big thing that we need is cabbage. We've already got our bin on our tractor ready to go. We just gotta get everybody together and be on our way.
Brought you a present.
Did you sharpen those?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know how sharp they actually are. They need like a stone, really. When you jam the knives into the dirt, it takes more than a sharpening steel to fix them.
I don't know who does that. It's definitely not me.
It might be me. Red baskets down in the cow pasture we have to grab because you did a donut the other day and they flew out of the back of your side-by-side. So we have to go get those.
Whoops.
Not right now.
I don't know how that happened. Before we left, Matthew and I grabbed a few red baskets. We need those for broccoli. But now we're finally on our way back to grab the cabbage. We'll fall up there. And here we are at the cabbage field. Now, we have not cut this end of the field yet, which is kind of exciting. It's gonna make this job a lot easier. The cabbage has grown a little bit. The weather's been on the nicer side. It started off really cold today, but it's warmed up quite a bit. And it's been like that for the past week and a half. So the cabbage is obviously gonna get some more size to it. So what we're gonna do is work as a team. We're gonna go out through the field, cut the cabbage, and then drive through with our tractor. And hopefully we'll get a full bin. All three of these at once? Probably not. 4. We were just talking a little bit. We're looking forward to making sauerkraut this year, but the only problem is the cabbage is not as large as we'd like it to be. Now, we had some larger orders for bigger heads. Those have all been taken care of, So we're going out through this field and the cabbage just isn't where we'd like it to be. Now it is continuing to grow, but we really haven't had rain in over a month. So because we haven't had rain, this stuff hasn't had the moisture it needs to grow, and cabbage requires a lot of moisture. So that is a little bit of a problem. Now we still are finding decently sized heads, but could you just imagine if we got a little more rain? Like what we would be getting here today would be just beautiful. So because of that, when it does come time to start doing sauerkraut, it's gonna take a little bit longer to get all the sauerkraut that we needed. If you have larger heads of cabbage, you can usually move a little bit quicker because, well, you have to harvest less. But you guys will notice as we move out through the field, there is a lot of spots where there's just no cabbage, and that's because we've been harvesting. And I mean, that's pretty obvious. You guys have seen us harvest basically everything on this channel. So it does take a little bit longer as we get later into the year. Things are growing slower. We haven't had rain, which leads to so many other problems. But for growing vegetables, yeah, rain's kind of important. Now we do have our irrigation pipe out here in the field, but at this point in the year, our temperatures are dropping down below freezing sometimes at night. And if that happens, we can't be running water through these lines. Because yeah, cabbage not growing, that's a problem. But destroyed irrigation line and irrigation pumps, that's a whole nother issue. So because of that, we're just taking whatever we can get. A lot of this cabbage is really, really nice. This is the kind of heads that a lot of people in the local area look for. Nothing too big, nothing too small, and it has a sweet, sweet flavor. As a matter of fact, a lot of people in the local area, they don't want to start making sauerkraut until after it freezes on the cabbage. And from doing a little bit of research, what that basically does is when it freezes or frosts on the cabbage, it concentrates the sugars in the cabbage, giving you a much sweeter flavor. And when you turn that into sauerkraut, whew, that's just the best sauerkraut. That's what a lot of the old timers will tell you, and that's what we've experienced ourselves. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into growing this cabbage and harvesting it, but that's just some of the things on our mind, especially when it comes to sauerkraut time. It's definitely gonna be a fun time when we start doing sauerkraut. Just gonna take a little bit longer this year, and a lot of people in the local area doing sauerkraut, because we no longer have bigger heads, they're gonna have to use the same thing we are. We've picked about halfway out through the field, so we're gonna walk back to the tractor. We're gonna get all the cabbage picked up and see how much more we need to harvest.
If it's ready.
Yeah, there's a couple heads of red cabbage here. Some of it's a little small though. The Savoy looks small too, but I'm sure I mean, there's a couple heads you could probably take. These are our specialty cabbages that we raise. So we have red cabbage and Savoy. We have done bok choy, or like a Chinese cabbage, but this like late harvest, we didn't do it. We didn't have the seed, we didn't have the transplant, so we just did red and Savoy. There are some heads here, but most of this stuff is really, really tiny. This one don't look bad. Here, that's probably one of the nicest ones we'll see. We'll have to put that on top of the bin. We thought about like growing some more like unique stuff, but you'd be surprised. Some of it just doesn't sell. Like, it's cool to have variety, but a lot of times people don't want variety. It'll be something they'll purchase one time and then they won't be back for it. There's a cabbage rolling down the hill. Okay, stop. Some people call this purple cabbage, some people call this red cabbage. I call it delicious. That should do it for the cabbage. We got an entire bin full. Then we were able to grab a few heads of Savoy and a few heads of red or purple cabbage. Isn't that pretty? Here's what our bin looks like. There's the red, purple, there's the Savoy, the rest of the cabbage. Beautiful, beautiful. Now that's not the only reason we were out here. We also needed some broccoli. Daniel and Matt already made their way over. They got started on cutting. Okay. I won't lie, it's starting to get very, very difficult to find broccoli. Uh-oh. And I would go through and harvest side shoots, but there's no side shoots. It's not growing because of how cold it's been. The weather has been kind of nice, but for growing side shoots, it's definitely not warm enough for that. Oh, hey, here we go. Here's some side shoots. That's a beautiful head. Very nice. The wind is really starting to pick up, but that's okay because we got all our broccoli harvested and we got our cabbage picked. Look at this broccoli.
He does.
Isn't that incredible?
On the side.
Wow. Can't believe this guy. Just talking on the phone while we're working.
And
he's just having a full-on conversation.
The price is crazy. The very interesting, though.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Now, there was something big that I wanted to mention to you guys. Something that we were dealing with this morning that we really didn't know how it was going to affect the day. Over the weekend, there was a pretty large fire in our local area. Now, when I say local, it's about 50 miles away. But it was a pretty sizable fire. A whole mountain went up. Not only did we have that fire, but then there was also another fire in the local area, and there was a brush fire on one of the local mountains. Now that's due to all the flammable material on the ground. You know, as things froze, as the leaves fell off the tree, there's a lot of fire starter on the ground. So whatever's been happening, we've just been seeing a lot of fires in the local area. And because of that, our air quality is not good at all today. Now, although it does look pretty clear, when we look over this way, it looks like gray skies on the horizon. That's actually a lot of smoke. We've been dealing with smoke all morning. Air quality hasn't been nice. And when I woke up this morning, I could just smell it. Now, we're not 100% sure as to which local fire is causing the smoke here. But we do know that it is quite the problem, and I feel bad for the people in the local area that are dealing with it more than we are. I know back at home for the babies, we've got a whole bunch of air purifiers running just in case. We have a pretty good system in our house that helps to filter out the air as well. So just am concerned about them, obviously, but then I'm also concerned about the animals and everybody else. I don't think we're gonna run into any problems here locally, but you gotta be careful, especially if anybody's burning like trash or something. We've seen fields go up when it's been really dry like that. So hopefully we don't run into any problems like that around here. We are gonna be doing our part to be as careful as possible. And if you have to burn and you live in an area where it's very, very dry, just be careful, because that can affect a lot more people than just you if that goes wrong. Now for us here today, I think we're gonna be okay. We're just gonna be keeping a close watch on the air quality. We got our cabbage picked, we got our broccoli picked, and that's everything we needed to grab out of the fields today. The only reason we're gonna be back out here is if for some reason we get like a random cabbage order. I mean, we could maybe squeeze one more basket of broccoli out of here, but I think that's gonna be it for broccoli for today. So we can get inside. One finger here, ready? One finger. I got it.
Kenny!
We got the broccoli filled up in the farm market. We've got 2 bins of broccoli here. We've got our cauliflower. We've got red, white, and yellow potatoes up in here. We still have some red beets for Grammy, and now an entire bin of cabbage. Everything that we can pick or that we can have in here, we basically got it. I'm trying to think if there's anything out in the fields that I'm missing. I don't think so. Everything that we can harvest is harvested for the day. Well, that's a good sign. These large totes that the boys were collapsing down here, these are called Pro Boxes. They're basically just a pallet system or a bin system that you can use to store seed in. These have slides on the bottom. You can just hold them over your seed unit, open it up, dump all the seed in, or load it into one of your hoppers. Each one of these units, when they're not collapsed like this, can hold 50 bushel of seed in it. So it could be anything. It could be corn, it could be beans, or what this stuff was, wheat seed. Now we cannot keep these, sadly. They have to go to Pioneer. So we're getting them all collapsed down and we're gonna be stacking them up over here. So when it does come time for them to go back to Pioneer, when they show up here, we can just easily load them up. But these things can be pretty nice, especially when you're loading up seed trucks or anything like that. You just hold it over the side, pull out the slide, all the seed runs right out, no problems at all. And that's it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to unload and load bags. You can just use these pallets instead. Well, that's gonna save us a whole bunch of room in our shop. We got these boxes pulled out and now they're stacked. We don't have too many of these for planting wheat, but when it comes time to plant soybeans, man, there is tons of these totes all over the place. So because we've been moving stuff out of here, it's opened up a lot of room. The combine's not in here, so that just really opens up this place. We've been able to move a few implements in here. We've got our grinder, sprayer in here. There's a couple other things in here. We have our potato planter in the back corner that usually stays here. If we had another shop where we could store our combine, boy, that'd make things so nice. But you know how it is. Putting up buildings is expensive. What are you sitting back here eating?
Spicy green beans.
Grammy made these this year. That's pretty good. Alrighty, everybody. Lunchtime is just about ready here. Grammy has got a special one. She's got hot dogs and she's making some mac and cheese. I'm very excited for both of those right now. We're just finishing up a little bit of lunch here. For the afternoon, it's not gonna be too crazy around here. Farm market hasn't been super busy. Got a few customers here right now, but for the most part, it's been kind of slow. Now for the afternoon, I don't really think we have too much going on. I know we gotta watch the farm market. We got a few people leaving here, so that's gonna be one of my jobs, watching farm market. So if anything exciting pops up, I'll be sure to show you.
And I missed you too. Yeah, I am happy to see you.
We just got to the farm for dinner tonight, and look who's here.
I want a little smile.
Pop-Pop and Mimi. They are back from vacation. How was vacation?
We had a nice time.
Did you miss the babies?
Yes.
I'm sure you missed the babies.
Rice
Alrighty,
Krispies.
let's see. What are we having for dinner tonight, Tracy?
Halushki.
Halushki?
want that, or do you want
Oh, that looks
She likes
so
Raisin
good.
Bran.
Wait, you see how big that is? That should feed all of us here.
You want-
That is a lot of food. I hope it's enough. Everybody is now coming into the dinner table, so you know what that means. This is where we're gonna end the video today. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.